Hello guys, welcome to this lesson. And in this lesson, we are essentially going to be looking at HTML attributes. Now, what are HTML attributes? HTML attributes basically provide additional information about the HTML elements. So they basically are like modifiers. Think of it as extra configuration, extra instruction or information about a particular element. Now, the first thing you need to know about HTML attributes is that all HTML elements can take in attributes. The second thing you need to know is attributes are generally divided into or categorized into two. We have the global HTML attributes, which all HTML elements can take, and we have some element specific attributes which are unique to a particular element. Okay, so for example, this H1 can take in some global attributes such as style, ID, etc, etc, but there are some attributes that are specific to this particular heading tag. The third thing you need to know about HTML attributes is that HTML attributes are usually in the start tag. Now let's take this particular HTML attribute right here. This is specific to this particular HTML element. And you see, when we added it here, we added it right here in the style tag after adding a space to separate the name of that particular tag. And the fourth thing you need to know about HTML attributes is they come in name value pairs, such that, okay, whenever you have our type, okay, we then put an equal to in front of it and then followed by either single or double quotes. However, the best thing for best practices, it is recommended that, okay, you start with double quotes and end with double quotes, and inside of that double quote is where the value is going to be in. Okay, so we have the name and then we have the value, so that is why we say they are in name value pairs. Now in this lesson, I'm mainly going to focus on the HTML global attributes while showing you a couple extra, maybe one or two element specific attributes, as we're going to learn more about attributes down the line, as we make use of them a lot and they are very much important. Now the first HTML attribute, global attribute, I would like to show you is something called the class attribute. Okay, and this is essentially used for selecting a particular element, okay, usually for CSS and JavaScript. So we can add a class of, okay, let's say this is header. Okay, and we can select this with CSS or with JavaScript to add maybe a particular functionality or to add a particular styling to it. Let me give us a quick demo. Okay, so right here inside of our head tag, I can add, don't bother about this yet, I can add my style right here and I can do something like dot header, and instead I can say font size, I can increase the font size to, okay, 100 pixels. And if I should save this and we should preview inside of our web browser, we're going to see, okay, this got increased. So this is essentially one of the use of this class attribute, and it is global. Okay, we could also use the ID. Okay, and using the ID, we'll just change this to use the hash symbol and like so. And once we save this and we come right here, we can see, oh sorry, this should be header. So let's save this and let's come back here. We can see this still apply that particular CSS. So that's essentially, okay, ID and class. Now let's remove this and we're going to remove, okay, let's change this back to class. Or rather remove it completely. Now the next thing I want to show us is the content editable. So I can have the content editable and then this is can be equal to true. Yeah, another thing we can do is we can just put in the content editable like this, but for best practice I'm just going to set it equals to true. Okay, so let's save that and let's see what that actually does. Coming back right here, and we can see, if we should scroll up to this heading 1, we can see that it becomes editable. Now this is one of the tricks that we can use in creating a browser specific text editor, and in one of my previous lessons we did just that. I'll put the link in the description below. So now I can type and edit this particular HTML element right here inside of my web browser, playing around with it, and we can see that, all because we set the content editable to true. If we should set it back to false, and let's save that, let's come here, we would see that wouldn't work anymore. Okay, another one attribute I would like to show you is the draggable. Okay, so if I should set draggable and I set it equals to true, and I should save that and come back right here. Now one thing is, let's try with an element that we haven't set the draggable equal to true first, and that is going to be this particular element here. So if I should try and drag this element, all it's just going to do is highlight. But with this, I can drag it and we can see it right here. Okay, so by default this only applies to image elements and links. Okay, by doing this we can see it's draggable. Now this is not completely finished up yet. We need a bit of JavaScript to be able to drag from one aspect to another inside of our web page, but we can at least see that this is now draggable. Okay, another attribute I would like to show you is the hidden. Okay, so I can change this to hidden, and let's save that, and we can see that element got hidden. Okay, it hides that particular element. Okay, and another one I would like to show you is going to be the title attribute. So if I should apply add title right here and I set it title here, and then let's save that and let's come to our web browser. Okay, and if we should hover on this, we can see that particular tooltip right here showing that title. So you can use the title to add some extra information when hovering over that particular element. All right, we have others such as translate and language, and we can see the language attribute right here. Okay, applying to our HTML as a whole. So let's say you have a particular tag which contains another language, you can add the language attribute to specify. Now these are some of the global attributes we have in HTML. Now let's go to some element specific attributes, and I'm just going to be showing you about just one or two. Okay, so let's come right here. I'm going to clear this off and I'm going to bring in a paragraph and another paragraph right here, and right here I'm going to insert some dummy content, and I'm just going to press my Ctrl Shift P and I'm going to type lorem. Okay, so I'm going to click on insert a paragraph, and this is automatically going to insert a paragraph for me, and I'm going to also do this and insert a paragraph right here. Now one thing I want to note is, before this can actually work, you can do this, you need to have an extension installed which is lorem ipsum, and we have it right here. So you have to have this installed and you can insert dummy content on the fly when working inside of Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let's save this and let's see what we have in the web browser. Okay, we have this right here. Now what if I come right here and I use align, align equals to, and then I'm going to use right. Okay, so let's save that and let's come right here, and we can see it aligned this particular text, this particular paragraph, to the right. By default all texts are aligned to the left. Okay, and I can come right here and instead of this I can say something like justify. Okay, so let's save that and we can see that this got justified, and we can also align it however we want to. Okay, so this marks the end of this particular lesson, and in the next one we're going to be looking at some further HTML elements and what they do.